Our next speaker, well, I've known him on, well, it came about from LinkedIn. Here we go again. And as Jonathan said, go do something and then find out where it goes. Well, opportunity doesn't just happen. We've got to do something. Years ago, I got on LinkedIn. I didn't know much about it. I took a course on it, and then I decided to act on it. Through all of that is the reason I'm here today with you doing this. Well, during all of that, here was this gentleman over here on the west coast of our continent. He worked for Rochester Midland for 10 years. Didn't know that at the start, but I found out that real soon. Recently I also found out he likes an RV and I live in an RV. We found out we have something else in common. He is the author of Insightful Selling. He is the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer at Lead Freak Solutions. And I'm going to get it right for this time. He is from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Welcome to the stage, Adon Rigg.
Hey, thank you very much. And I just want to, as a Canadian, take my hat off to my fellow Americans and all the great speakers and the people attending this seminar. It's been great. I've had the pleasure to watch everybody today, except the very first person, because I'm 3 hours behind. So great job on everyone. What I want to talk to you about today is old ways won't open new doors. And that's not going to be that revolutionary for some people. But for others, it's going to be. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is going to push the boundaries a bit on what you consider, what a lot of people consider as normal or the standard way of growing and prospecting in 2022. Now, specifically, I'm going to make a very bold statement. I'm going to talk about the perfect prospecting process to grow your janitorial business. Now, you can use any business, but specifically the janitorial business, and discover the 3 tactics that will 16x your leads. Now, this is probably not your first talk. And if you've been to a lot of seminars before with salespeople talking about prospecting, you may have been left wanting, right? If you're concerned that, we keep hearing all these different things, what to do, cold calling, don't cold call, do this, do that. Don't worry, you've got this. There's lots of opinions. Everyone has one, and it can be confusing. After this talk, you'll know exactly what works, okay? Nothing happens until something is sold. So let's begin, let's rock and roll. So who is Adon Rigg? Well, I started in the janitorial sector in 1994. In my interview, I did not know you could even get janitorial supplies outside of a retail location. And I've been in no other industry since 1994. I've had different roles, but no different industry. I'm the author of Insightful Selling, but what I'm most proud of is being part of the 21 cold calling secrets from the masters, thanks to chorus.io. So what's my goal for this web class? What am I hoping you're going to get out of this? I'm hoping you're going to get out of this that the only way to exponentially grow your leads is with prospecting automation. And the only way to automate your prospecting is through Lead Freak. Now, I'm going to call out the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room that I absolutely spent maybe 2 years extra being careful before I came out and said it, because I knew there'd be a lot of people throwing arrows at me, and I wanted to be sure. Cold calling does not work in 2022. There are always anomalies out there. Every golf player, no matter how bad you are, hits it straight now and again, keeps you coming back for more. But cold calling on the whole does not work. Now, I'm not the only one that's come out on the ledge and said this. Is Tony Hughes from Combo Prospecting says cold calling alone is a low yield activity and can destroy morale, annoy potential clients, and even kill a sales career. And as of 2017, it took 18 call attempts to get a business executive, i.e. another word for a decision maker, on the phone. And even more recently, 6,000 cold calls resulted in 19 appointments. 6,000 cold calls resulted in 19 appointments. That's 1/3 of 1%. So does it work? Absolutely it works, but not at the level I want it to work, and probably not the level you want it to work. We need sales intelligence, right? We need a different way to do things. And that really became a light for me in my first job. My first job, I never realized what this what this graph from Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about. He talks about taking the shift from self-employed over a business owner. And as Dave mentioned, I had many roles in distribution and manufacturers, and I was an employee. And to a degree, because you're in sales, you're self-employed to a degree as well. But when I got into business for myself a number of years ago, I had to take the switch. I had to switch from self-employed over to a business owner. I want to take a vacation. I want my business to be working, generating leads, or at least being able to service my customers when I go away to Mexico for a week. I don't want everything to have to stop until I come back. That's the difference between a self-employed and a business owner. And so I never really realized this to my first job. My first job was at Wendy's as a cook. And if you ever analyze the fast food industry, for hamburgers in particular, if you go to any location late at night, you will get a burger most of the time faster, fresher from Wendy's than any other location. And the reason for that is because they offer one thing other hamburger joints don't make, an offer, and that's chili. And I didn't realize at the time when I started my job back in the mid-'80s, I was told flip, 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 flip. At some point, I can't remember how many flips it was, that burger now is on the well done side. It's not the way they want to serve a burger to somebody. But instead of wasting that meat, they put it aside for chili meat. And therefore, they do not have dead inventory. So when you go to Wendy's late at night, you're going to have a fresh burger. When you go somewhere else, you're going to have a microwave burger, or you're going to wait for your burger, unless you get very, very lucky and they have one on the grill. My point being is you have to have a system. And if you don't have a system in business, then you are going to be tied down to repeating activities that you could be doing something else, which leads me to the three challenges. The three challenges I want to talk to you about today, and I'm going to go into challenge one. Challenge one is whoever can find and convert a prospect into a customer faster and cheaper wins, right? Now think about that. That's just obvious now that it's said. If your competitor takes a month to get a customer or 2 months, and you take a week, 2 weeks, you win. And so what we need to recognize is that we need to do things differently. We need to embrace technology. As Grant Cardone said, you must take time out of long cycles to get more money now. Reduce the time it takes so you can get a sale with a client now rather than later. For you those who don't know who Grant Cardone is, he was just an undercover billionaire where you had 90 days to create a business that was valued at $1 million. They're dropped into a town with $100, no contacts. They took their cell phones and gave him an old beat up truck. And he built a $5.5 million business in 90 days. So how did he do it? I'll encourage you to watch that. But what he did is he leveraged and worked with people, as this whole conversation has been about today, about embracing people. What I want to talk to you about specifically is this graph. Now, this might look to you at first that it's just a graph with some icons on it. I want to tell you that this has taken me over 10 years and somewhere between $60,000 and $80,000 that I absolutely peed down the drain. Okay, I have spent hundreds and thousands of hours learning what doesn't work. You're talking about a guy that started in 1994 that was given a black bag, samples put in my bag, and go up and down the street selling. And to make this transition over the last 10, 12 years has been daunting. But what this is a system that will allow you to create leads, to create awareness. As Jonathan said, create awareness. You can't be known too much. You can't post too much. Right? People say, oh, don't you post too much. You post too much. Then unsubscribe. Right? I want the people that want to say yes to me when I ask them on a date. I don't want to have to sit back and say, are they going to say yes if I ask them on a date? I want to know they're going to say yes. When they say, I know they're going to say yes, I have more confidence. When I know they're going to say yes, I can spend more time on finding out about them, on what they want, what they need. I use it metaphorically, but that's what we need to do with our prospects. So when I talk about this, I talk about the importance in understanding that this, having a system in place that automates the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, for low yield activities, right? As a manufacturer's rep, the one thing I would never do is tell this distributor sales manager on how my day was out with the reps. And none of them ever will tell you the truth. Most of the time, it's a complete waste of time. Why? Because there's so much to do that now they've been told to go make calls and work with somebody, and yet they're going to fill out fixed dispensers that are broken and streaky floors and all that stuff. Too much is expected on salespeople that companies now need to embrace technology to allow to offset the time to allow their salespeople to do what they do best, which is close sales and look after existing customers. So challenge number 2 is how to build a prospecting campaign on autopilot in less than 10 minutes. Now, the first thing I ever signed up for is I spent $1,200 just to be able to have access to the program. Then I had 3 training programs where I met with somebody on a screen share, and this is over 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and there was a program called Infusionsoft. It was in Confusionsoft. I absolutely wasted that $1,200. I had my 3 hours. I was lost. I then tried MailChimp. I then tried all these different programs, ConvertCart, whatever they are, and there's so many tools to use. And then I had to sit down and write the email, and then, oh, do this and do that. I don't have time for that. And I'm sure that you don't either. So what we want to do is we want to write an email, as an example, once. Perfect that email. Make it written well once. And then use that email the same time 1,000 times until that email no longer works, and change it up. So what I'm talking about here, I'm talking about automation. I'm talking about allowing a system to do it for you. So I don't have time to go into all this today, but as an example, you put the email in, it goes out to the customer. Did they open it? Yes, they did. As you'll see with the orange square, they get that email. Oh, they didn't open it? Well, they get that email. And perhaps we stop the campaign, but this is all automated. At the same time, I get an email, you get an email, and it says, hey, Adon, here's your graph for the day. Click it. Oh, there's the 5 people, 6 people, 7 people, whatever it is that's open to that content. These are people that have paid attention. These are people that have said, oh, have clicked that email or watched that video. And so those are the people I want to reach out to. Those are people I'm certain I have a better chance asking them out on a date because I know they're somewhat familiar with me, right? Awareness. We have to create the awareness, but we just don't have the time, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you have a small team. You can't possibly take it all on yourself. Now, challenge number 3 was, now that I had the system, now that I understood automation, I understand everything I need to do. I learned everything. I learned how to do the emails. I learned how to create the videos. I learned everything, the thousands of hours. Now, guess what? Crickets. Okay, you can post to social media, and so you should. And social media is a great platform to create awareness. But very few people, without you spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, is going to pick up the phone to you. Okay, they're just not. There will be the odd one, absolutely, but you will starve to death. You have to be a prospector. You have to get the leads. And so what I first started doing is I started going onto the internet and looking at customers that I might want to call and seeing if I could find their email addresses. And if I could, I would get it. And then I'd pick up the phone and say, hi, can you tell me who's in charge of XYZ? And almost 90% of the time, be like, yeah, who's calling? We're not interested. What's your name? I'll get someone to call you back. Crickets, right? I don't have time for that. So I'm going to show you a quick little video here of what I do have time for. And this can take us seconds to prospect for your competitors' customers, right? If anyone's not doing business with you and they are in the market, then they are dealing with your competitor. If someone is presently getting their facility cleaned, they're getting it cleaned by your competitor. If someone is presently buying cleaning supplies and they're not buying from you, they're buying from your competitor. So once we know who we want, we go, and one of the places we can do that is with LinkedIn. So let me show you how we can get unlimited leads in a matter of a few minutes. This is a short little video.
All right, so we have our 4-step plan here. Who, where, upload, and automate. So who are we looking for? Well, we look at Sales Navigator. In this particular case, we're going to look for facility managers in the Toronto area that are first or second degree connections, and they're in the facility services sector. When we do our search, it shows us that we have 204 potentials in that area. So the who is Sales Navigator. The where is right here. Where are they? They are sales managers or facility managers in the Toronto area. What we want to do is we want to collect the leads now. We're simply going to select what group we want them in. I select a facility managers group. We want all the contacts. There's 9 pages available. And we want save leads with found emails only. We want emails. We click that. We're going to launch the email finder. You're seeing all the people and the emails that are found and the ones that are not found. They're being populated right now between those 9 pages. So it's page 3. We're now at page 4. We're now at page 5, 9. And there we have it. We have 136 leads with emails that they found. We're going to go into our group. We have our facility managers here in Toronto. Here they are. And we're going to download them into a CSV file. We're going to download this file. And there you have it. We'll simply upload them and automate it into the system.
So there you have it. Okay. What we have done is we have automated the top of the funnel process. We've also automated the middle of the funnel. And those that are interested, that have some type of, they're clicking, they're watching, whatever, that's when sales gets involved. That's when we spend our time picking up the phone or doing a very highly personalized email or texting or whatever our sales role is. We get sales involved, or we put our sales hat on if we're both the marketer and the sales. But we are calling on people that are familiar with who we are. But we'll wait and we'll starve to death if we wait for them to come to us. We want to have an inbound system, but we also want to have an outbound system. So my question to you is do you think this can work for you? And if you can point and click, if you can use a mouse, then anyone can do this. And I welcome you to embrace it because it is the future, and the future is now. Thank you very much.